Stop trying to coach everyone. If you're an online health coach struggling to get more clients, the problem might be that you're actually casting too wide of a net. Today, I'm going to break down why niching down is actually the fastest way to scale up in your business. Plus, I'm going to share with you the hottest coaching niches for 2025 that are blowing up right now. They've got tons of clients available for you to coach. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to find your perfect niche, one that not only lights you up, but also attracts clients who are ready to invest. So if you are ready to build a thriving coaching business, let's dive right in. And I'm going to start with why niching down is important. I see a lot of coaches on their social medias and they're saying to themselves, or it looks like they're saying to themselves, if I keep talking about everything that I possibly can, I'm going to speak to more people, and by volume, I'm going to get more clients. And although from a numbers perspective, that might look like it works, but the reality is when you have a really broad message, you tend to confuse the people who are looking at it. They don't really know when they're looking from video to video if you are the coach for them. And this is why niching down is so important, because you cannot serve everyone. People want to work with a specialist. When you're looking at something for your health, you're not going to say, I'm going to go to the GP if my knee is hurting. You're like, I want to go see the guy who works specifically on knees. And it's the same thing with your online socials. You have to make sure that when someone is going to your pages and they do what I call the two scroll, they're going to go 1, 2 with their fingers. If they can't tell in the video bandwidth that's right there that you are the coach for them, if the messaging isn't clear, if how you help is not clear, if there's no easy call to actions for them, then they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to find a specialist. Because not only people do they want to know that you are the person to help them, but they also want to know that this is the thing that you literally specialize in all the time. So instead of doing this wide arching net, we want to niche down and we want to make sure that we solve a specific problem, that we do it very well, that we go all in on helping that person. And I'll put a little disclaimer here. It doesn't mean that you have to say, I help busy professionals from ages 35 to 57. That's actually not a niche. That's a demographic. And there are a lot of coaches that are focused on dialing in their demographic when they should really be focused on their niche. Niching down is all about the same end transformation and the same transformation process for the client. So if I were to go into your business, like I do inside with my clients of working inside of Coach to Coach, if I go inside their business and I pull their top 10 clients and I look at them, I should see the same person. I should see the same challenges, the same struggles, the same values. I should see the same goals. That's how you know that your messaging is super aligned. So niching down is important because it helps you serve a higher level client better because you become a specialist, and it helps you stand out from the crowd because people want to work with people that, of course, get their problem and have a specific solution for them. So before we go into how to be able to build your own niche, I want to talk about the top trending niches in 2024, because there are a lot of places where I feel like coaches are just focusing on health or nutrition, or it's very, very general terms, stress. And it's like, okay, sure, those are very big areas, but those are also very saturated areas of coaching. If you're going to go into 2025 and actually have someone interested in you as a coach, it's not enough to do those general things. You are going to have to specialize. So speaking of the kind of stress, one of the biggest areas I'm seeing growth in terms of coaching is burnout coaching. So this is workplace stress and mental well-being. It's so important. There are a lot of people who have bad nutrition habits, bad training habits, because they have bad boundaries and they don't know how to be able to have a high performance work job and still be healthy at the same time. So if I was a coach now, I would develop a program specifically for that, for workplace stress or mental well-being, maybe balanced lifestyle alongside work, because it's really important that people, especially those people who are go-getters, that they know that they don't have to give up their career to also get the results from a health perspective. The second place, which is the place that I was in before I transitioned into business coaching, it's hormone health coaching. There are so many people who have hormonal challenges, and before you go and say, but Andrew, I don't have any specializations for hormones. Guess what? I was not a registered doctor. I help people's hormones through nutrition. You can help it through activity. There are a lot of different ways. And again, maybe this is not the niche for you, but I'm going to share it anyways because it's literally is the top one that everyone keeps asking for and that they're looking for. So hormone health coaching. Being a PCOS specialist, menopause, women's menopause is really big. And guess what? There are a lot of different transitions of menopause, pre, post, there's a lot going on there for ladies. And sorry you have to go through that, ladies, it's wild. But that means that there are a lot of things that you can help through that process. Men's testosterone and men's health. It's really important, especially for men now, that their testosterones are 30% lower, and they're getting lower and lower every year with the estrogen that we have in our food. And, that's maybe a different episode talking about some health stuff, but it is a huge market that if you have nutrition background, if you have training backgrounds, if you're a registered dietitian, if you're an ND like some of our clients are, those are really good opportunities for you to get in and help those people. The next one is gut health and inflammation. There are a lot of people who have IBS as a chronic condition, and they've been blank labeled. It's like, hey, here's your diagnosis, IBS, you have irritable bowel syndrome. I don't know what's wrong with you, but here it is. So if you specialize in things to help people's gut heal from within, do it naturally using food, that's very appealing for people. And a lot of people are actually looking for that in terms of coaching. In terms of another aspect as well, like emotional eating is a really big one. If this is obviously what your expertise is, because there are a lot of people who have been so chronically on diets that that's something that they're looking for. And then the last one is longevity and preventative health. Preventative health, anti-aging, as they call it, biohacking, but focus it on nutrition. That's really big because people are always looking for ways to extend how they feel, especially high-level people. Remember, as coaches, we are looking to work with high-level people. So the highest level person is not on a low level of struggle. They probably got their weight together. They're looking for more performance now, and there's a lot of money and a lot of clients to be found in performance. So let's go into how to find your niche. There's really 3 steps that I do with all of our clients inside of Coach to Coach. Now, I will say the coaches that we work with already have a niche, but what they're looking for when they're at that 15 to 20K mark is they're like, I need to dial it down further so that way when I speak to a message, I'm every single person on the consult, every single person in the DMs, it is the same person every time. So I tend to guide our coaches through a 3-step process, and I'm going to share it with you here. The first is the passion and experience. That is literally step 1. Passion and experience should 100% be in your niche because you are going to be talking about it every day. I talk about content every day. I talk about value stack funnels every day in my business. I talk about coach growth and recurring revenue because those are things that I love. Those are things that excited me in my business. So number 1, you've got to build a niche from passion and experience. So the question that I'm going to put to you is asking yourself, what do you love talking about? What do you love talking about inside of health and fitness? Because 9 times out of 10, what you love as a coach is what your clients are going to love because you want your best clients to operate just like you. That's going to be the person who goes all in and who's showing up to the coaching all the time. So is it nutrition? Is it fitness? Is it CrossFit? Is it you loved your transition from going postnatal, from being a mom, going straight to a marathon? What is it that you love talking about? And then the second thing is, what transformations have you personally experienced? Remember, your clients typically want to embody who you are. Most coaches out there became a coach because they had a personal transformation. And you started talking about it in the beginning, you got a bunch of clients, and then for some reason you stopped talking about your transformation journey. So the question is, what transformations have you experienced? So for myself, what helped me set my niche, and my niche in coaching was I was the hormone helper. When I did health coaching, I specialized in balancing people's hormones naturally through food. I called myself the hormone helper. We had our hormone reboot process. I taught one of my most popular seminars with over 2,000 downloads, The House of Hormones, teaching you how your basic hormones operate, making it as simple, as easy as operating your home. That was what set me apart. And you can already see that that's a niche. Now, that niche came from a transformation of mine. I had a struggle with hormonal issues for holy cow, it was like for 6 years I struggled with hormones. And then when I was able to heal my hormones, I tried different things. I was put on even TRT at one point, and then I got off all the medication because it made me feel crappy. And I said, nope, there's got to be a way that I can do this. So as I started to learn, I fell in love with fitness. I fell in love with nutrition. And then that's when I realized that there's a lot that you could do with food to naturally stabilize your hormones. So I love talking about hormones, and that's where my specialty and my niche lied. It was something that fell right in line with what I did every day. So the passion and experience is the first step. What do you love talking about, and what transformation have you personally experienced? That's going to be, I would argue, the foundation of building your niche. The second thing that you've got to ask to yourself is the market demand. Market demand is really important for a niche. This is why it's not enough to be a nutritionist anymore. In 2008, there weren't a lot of nutritionists, so people were just flocking to them. Same thing with online fitness coaches. Now, there's a ton of you guys. So now that you have something you love to talk about, you then have to say to yourself, okay, where can I find the market demand in what I'm excited to talk about every day? So the questions you got to be asking yourself now are, number one, what are you searching for? What are people searching for inside of this topic? So for hormones, it was always pre and postnatal, pre and postmenopausal, digestive issues, and low testosterone. You see how quickly I know what people are searching for inside of my niche? You need to do the same thing. What are people searching for? Is it how to be able to lose the last 30 pounds of stubborn fat? Cool. Then that's totally fine. Is it how to reduce stress weight? Cool. Is it mental performance so I can, 10x my money at my job? Whatever it is, there's always something that people are searching for inside the topic that you love talking about. So this is where you'll find the market demand. And then you have to do a step up, a step above, which is, are there existing businesses thriving in this space? You may think to yourself, oh, everybody needs this. And when you search it up, you don't find anybody. If you don't find any single coach that specializes in it, or any coach that is being consistent in that area, it's probably because maybe it's something you would want and it's not something your clients want. And that's very important. We select our niches by what excites us, but we also have to benefit the client. I can't just give them a bunch of things that they don't need that's not going to help them with the transformation. That's not going to be exciting for them. So you have to, after saying what are people searching for, you've got to then look and say, well, what are the existing businesses thriving in this space? And then there's the third step of this. This is the profit potential step. Okay. This is where you make the money in coaching. And the question now becomes this: who would pay for this transformation? Who would pay for it inside of your client demographic? When I look at all of my coaches, one of our most successful coaches inside of Coach to Coach made $3 million last year. Okay, and we're it's February 6th now, and he closed out December 2024 with $3.2 million. When I ask him who would pay for this transformation, when he pulls out his clients, they're all the same person. They're identical. Their jobs are in similar fields. Their work hours are in similar fields. The things that they're interested are in similar fields. You should be able to understand the person who is willing to invest in themselves, because that is going to be your highest level client. These are the people who you're going to be able to put a price tag on, and they're not going to question what the price is because they're invested in the outcome, not in the tips and the tools. where a lot of coaches get capped in their income. And when they're like, oh, I don't get it, like my audience has slowed down with leads, it's like, no, you were selling to people with just tips and tools. And now the real people, the real ones, are looking for something more. They're looking for the transformation. Who would pay for this? Is it the busy executive who wants to be able to be healthy, take back more time with his kids, but at the same time he cares about his performance? Cool. Now you have a client demographic for your niche. Tie it all back in to the beginning of the episode, right? Now you have a client demographic for the niche. So who would pay for this transformation? And then the second question is, are they already spending money on this? So when I looked at my clients inside of the Hormone Helper, and we had a lot of programs. We had a Hormone Reboot program, our Vantage program. When I was looking at clients in there, I saw the same demographic. It was always 37 to 57, and we had 90% female base of clients. So 90% of our clients were females. It was always pre and postnatal, pre and postmenopausal, and digestive issues. And what I found was they would pay for this transformation because they were tired of feeling hot and cold flashes, random night sweats, random forms of irritability. It drove them up the freaking wall. And then with the second question, are they already spending money on this? Yeah, my clients were. They were seeing a naturopath multiple times. They were going to their gynecologist back and forth. Actually, the highest clients that we were taking on were even a part of a private medical clinic that they had to invest and spend money in Canada because they weren't getting the solution. So they've already been actively spending money towards this, which tells me if you can find the person who would pay for this, that's the person you speak to every day. We don't speak to the people who might invest because yes, they're going to be inside your funnel, but they're going to take a longer time to build trust. We speak to the person who's 100% all in and who's already actively investing towards this. If you can do that, if you can go first passion and experience, because it always has to come with something you love, then you go market demand, and then you go profit potential. If you do those three things, I guarantee you're going to have a niche out in your business. Okay. And I want to share with you some of the clients inside of Coach to Coach because it's really important. So we had a client, Pamela, who came and she was like, I want to do health and nutrition, but there's a lot of health and nutrition coaches out there. And I was like, okay, but you understand how many people out there are talking about the same thing? And she said, yeah, I feel like I'm just giving basic tips and I'm not really attracting anybody. And then in one of her services, she was like, oh yeah, I also do Zumba. Truthfully, like I'm really excited about Zumba, but like no one's really in it. So I'm just doing the health and the fitness stuff. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. You're telling me that what you're really passionate about is the Zumba, is the dancing, and you're not talking about the thing that you love because you're talking about what you think is going to get you clients, not what you're actually passionate about. And she's like, okay, well, tell me more. Well, this is where we spent the next 60 days and we went into her business and we said, Zumba is going to be the key feature. And we're going to build your program around how can people exercise and be healthy through dance, and how can people eat healthy while being able to dance 2 to 3 times a week. And so the dance, the movement, the fun of being healthy was what we built her brand around. And then she started getting clients in the Zumba. Then she started getting clients signing on for health and nutrition because they were in alignment with her. They loved to dance. They were in alignment with the goal, which is she was helping them dance to reduce stress and lose weight. And then they were also in line with the messaging because the messaging was all the same. It was like, listen, I can show you how to lose weight and how to be healthy through dancing. And they're like, oh my goodness, I love this. Here's another example for you. We had a coach, Julie, that we recently started working with who helps people reduce stress, but it's stress from corporate. So her entire program is based on, and we niched down into this because again, she was like, I want to do nutrition, I want to do activity, I want to talk habits. All of this is all over the place. And then we nailed it all down. And it was like, what was the bottom line? And she was like, I left a corporate job that I hated. And in leaving the corporate job that I hated, I saw a huge reduction in stress, and I was able to take back all of my time and to get healthy. But then I realized that I didn't actually have to leave the job to get healthy. I could have made a lot of changes to get healthy while I was working corporate. And we were like, holy cow. So she's literally the corporate de-stressor. That's her program. That's her niche. I am the corporate de-stressor, and we help all of the women, because she focused women dominant, inside of corporate still keep their high performance job, but live day to day with boundaries so they can be healthy and spend time with their family. It's niche. It's there. When people go to her feed, they're like, hey, this is exactly what she is helping with. And so that started to have her client base attract and continue to grow. There's also a third one. I'll give this final example. The gentleman, Leslie, who is in $3.2 million in revenue, his whole thing is performance. It's performance, it's mindset. And when we were looking at the clients that he had already, it was interesting because he had a niche already and his clients were identical already. But the thing is his content was always talking about a bunch of things. And all I did was said, listen, if you're always focusing on mental health, performance, security, family, then this is what we need to dial in on. And you don't deviate from these 4 topics. And sure enough, as he started leaning into it, then he started getting more and more clients. And then when clients would come on, he could talk about whatever conversation he wanted to talk with them. So it's not hard for you to be able to niche down in this. And remember, guys, I also niche down in my business. I had a hormone coaching business for 8 years. We went from personal training and nutrition, helping like 50 people a year, which was crazy, all the way up until 8 years later, 4,400 clients over 8 years. That average is close to like, holy cow, I don't even know how to do the math on this. Hey, what you're going to find is without a calculator, I'm a useless gentleman. I'm going to do the math on this. Boom. Okay. That's literally 550 people a year on average, which, I mean, the first 2 years I was just doing personal training. So it's probably close to 700 people a year because those 2 years were a little smaller. And all I did was declare that I was the hormone helper, that I had the hormone reboot program, and that we help people balance hormones naturally through food. It helped me make $1.4 million in business. It helped us sign on all those clients because they knew exactly what they were coming for. They were coming to help their hormones balance naturally. Now, I just want to share this because it's an important thing too. There is a couple of common mistakes that some coaches do when they are like trying to set a niche. The first one I talked about earlier in the video. This is confusing a client demographic for a niche. A busy professional, 37 to 57 with 2 kids, that's a client demographic. That's not a niche. The niche is focusing on the transformation. So make sure you understand the transformation and the process. You understand the challenge and the things that they need. Then we're going to put a client demographic to that when we start picking who's actually going to buy this. The second mistake that people make is when they go into a niche, they're afraid to say that the program is so specific that when people come to them, they start taking on people who are not right for the container. One of the easiest and quickest ways to kill a following and to kill a tribe inside of your coaching is to take on people who do not fit the niche. So as an example, when I would do hormone coaching, I had people come to me and I was digestion, pre and post menopausal, low T, I told you, all of the ones that were there. I would have people come and they're like, hey, I'm an athlete, I'm looking for performance, help me increase this and this, help me reduce my cortisol. I'm not your guy. Even though it is technically hormones, I said I said no to people that I could have said yes to because I knew that it would water down the client base inside of the program, and that was not the right thing to do. So if you have a niche, it's important that you commit to it. Can you talk about other things with people inside the program? Yes, but the main reason why they should be there should be the main reason of everyone inside of your program, especially if you're running a group program. Because then you're going to start to have the same conversations. It allows you to make easier content to those people, and you start attracting more and more of those people. The final mistake that people make in terms of niching is they change too frequently. You're allowed to change. Like, you as a coach will grow. I went from a personal trainer to then had my nutrition certifications to then we focused on hormones, and then Now I'm a business coach. It is okay to change and to grow as a business coach. But when people are looking at your socials, you have to understand that your old audience will not convert and change so easily. So when you choose a niche, it's important that it's got to be really something that you love and that excites you, because if you keep changing over and over again, what that shows to a client is that this coach doesn't know what they want. They're really having a hard time like deciding for themselves who they are, and that just, it makes people lose confidence in you. So if you're going to keep a niche, it's not something that changes every 30 days. It's not something that changes every year. If it's going to change, there needs to be a really good reason why. And truthfully, I'll tell you why my niche changed. My niche changed me from hormone coaching to business coaching, because as I started taking on private clients to show them how to build their business, I fell in love with business. I really did. And I still love hormones, but I love talking about business way more. It excites me. It's so fun to help people break down problems. Hormones is very like, cool, we change this with food. Like the conversations are not as dynamic. And so I get really fired up when I coach in business because it excites me. So for me, I made a decision which I thought about for 2 years to make the conversion over into business coaching, because I knew, hey, look, I have something I really love here. So I got to really freaking love this more before I make the dive in. And of course, like everything, it was the best decision, because, you know, anything you choose, there's no right or wrong choice. There's only, like, we make choices right by making adjustments. So it was only adjustments, and then I made it right for me. So before we end this episode, guys, that's all for the niche stuff. If you are new to the channel, like, I'm Coach Andrew. What's up? I help online health and fitness coaches attract and sign high quality clients, really so they can just make more money and have more fun inside of their business. So if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you click and subscribe, and then click the bell icon, like, I don't know, somewhere here. Turn on the notifications. That way, every video I put out, you're going to get a notification on, and you can continue to grow your business. And if you need support and you're in this space where you're getting the same amount of leads month over month, and you've got that steady client base, but you want to kick it to 30K and 50K a month, then reach out to us. We've got the Coach to Coach program. That's one-on-one coaching. It's having a dedicated person, aka me, literally diving into your business with you. We're unpacking everything. We go through every system and process. We help you create the client converting content. We help you build the value stack funnel system. We'll fast launch any programs that are kind of in the ether that you haven't launched yet, but we'll make sure that they're filled before we actually launch them, so you can just continue to scale and grow your revenue. So if you're interested in that, there's of course a link in the show notes to book a strategy call with me, and we'll unpack, and you know, at the very least, we'll have a conversation and see if it's something that makes sense. So thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Catch you on the next one. Coach Andrew out. See you later.